Brock Purdy in the fourth quarter really soiled the bed. He was perfect in the first half. He had 2 incomplete passes, 2 touchdown passes, a touchdown run, quarterback rating of 158.3. Doesn't get any better than that. Comes back in the second half while winning, throws 3 picks to the same guy. The first one didn't count. Throws a pick to Kirby Joseph. The play doesn't count. The pick doesn't count because of a defensive pass interference penalty. Very next play, throws a pick again to the same guy. Comes back later in the game, throws another pick to the same guy over the middle. And I think we're starting to see who Brock Purdy is. He's not good in the second half. He's been bad in the second half all year. He's really good in the first half. He's really good if he has a big lead. He's really good if he doesn't have to be the man on his offense. But as soon as the game gets tight and he has to deliver, he has to be the guy, he's going to lose. We've seen that from Brock. He's not clutch. He's not a closer. He's a starting pitcher, but you want to take him out in the 5th inning. You don't even want to leave him in there in the 6th. You got to get him out of there. He'll give you 5 good innings, but that's not $60 million a year. He's done this over and over and over again. This year, he's had so many games where he had the ball and it was a 1-score game and he absolutely blew it with turnovers. I mean, he's the main reason they lost this game. Jake Moody cost him 7 points and Brock Purdy turned the ball over not once, but twice. Hard to win that way. And it's like, what's troubling to me about this is like, we talk about Jake Moody having the yips, which of course he does. What about Brock Purdy? Every time the game's close to the second half, you know what's going to happen. Here comes the interception. Oh, there it is. You can set your watch to it. He is the reincarnation, not of Joe Montana, not of Jeff Garcia, not of Steve Young, not of Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy was more clutch than that. He's the reincarnation of Steve DeBerg. Kids, look him up. He's the guy Montana replaced. Bill Walsh once famously said that Steve DeBerg would play just well enough to get you beat. That's Brock Purdy this year. So is he worth $60 million a year? No. Is he worth $40 million a year? No. He's as good as his running back. And what the Niners should do, I'm just going to say it. We've seen enough. They should trade him. His best football is behind him. If they bring him back next year, it'll be more of the same, and his trade value will go down. If they extend him, he'll be untradeable. They should trade him now. If they could get a first-round pick from some naive team, they got to do it. If they could, the Raiders need a quarterback, but they're not really in position to take the top 2 guys in this year's draft, Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders. That's a desperate team that makes bad decisions. Maybe they'll trade the 49ers their first-round pick for Brock Purdy. Take that first-round pick. Now you got 2 picks in the top 15, and go sign Sam Darnold, who will be cheaper than Brock Purdy if Brock Purdy hasn't cost himself millions and millions of dollars the last few weeks. I don't know. But this guy isn't it. He's a choker. He's the Jake Moody of quarterbacks. If he doesn't have to be the man, he's fine. He might be really good. But making $60 million a year, you're the man. And he can't handle that pressure. He can't handle the pressure of almost making $60 million a year, of chasing the $60 million a year contract. That's too much for him. I mean, really, if he had won this game, you could have been like, who cares? Show us this when it matters against the Rams when you put up 6 points. But he choked in a game that didn't matter. He choked in a game that didn't count. He still choked. Too much pressure. He's not going to win a Super Bowl. We've seen enough. Trade him before the rest of the league figures it out if they haven't figured it out already. Trade him for a first-round pick if you can get him, and sign Sam Darnold, who is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. And before you say, Brock, that Sam Darnold has a better offensive line, go look on Pro Football Focus. They have the same exact pressure percentage per dropback. I don't want to hear those excuses. Jared Goff is not an elite quarterback, but he is a franchise quarterback. I mean, if there's a distinction, he showed it tonight. He was not going to be the reason the Lions lost that game. Was he perfect? No. Can he move? Absolutely not. But he didn't turn the ball over twice, let alone once. The Lions got their money's worth from Jared Goff tonight. The Niners did not get their money's worth from Purdy, and they only paid him like $7.95. Before the game, Jed York apparently told Tim Kawakami that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and everyone's coming back next year. Whoopee! Run it back. Let's see that again. I want to see that crew try a little harder. Every time they lose, you want to hear about how the Niners, they're really upset now. This is going to galvanize them. This adversity is what they need to really lock in. It's week 17. They're not locking in. This has not been a pleasant, positive experience. There are no moral victories from this season. It's been a horrific, horrendous failure. I saw a stat today that the Niners had a 78% chance to make the playoffs before the season started. 78. They're 6-10. And their franchise quarterback, who everyone says is so freaking great, has been here for every game except one. What's the excuse? I don't know.